The love betrayal and the sweetest revenge. Love. It's supposed to be pure. Trusting someone with your heart, your soul, your future. It's the most powerful bond two people can share. But what happens when that love is shattered? When the person you sacrificed years for betrays you on the very day they promised forever? Today's story is about a woman who gave everything to the man she loved. Her time, her loyalty, her dreams. But on the day of their wedding, he betrayed her in the cruelest way possible. What he didn't know, though, was that years later, she would return stronger, more powerful, and her revenge would leave him begging for mercy. Sarah was a bright young woman, smart, ambitious, but above all, kind-hearted. In college, she met Ahmed. He was charming, confident, and had a way of making her laugh even on her worst days. What started as friendship quickly blossomed into love. They became inseparable. Late-night calls, walking hand in hand after class, sharing dreams of a future together. For 5 years, Sarah gave him everything: her trust, her loyalty, her unconditional love. She even turned down job offers so she could stay close to him, believing they'd build a life together. Ahmed often said, "Sarah, one day we'll get married, buy a house, and live happily ever after." Sarah believed every word. Finally, the wedding date was set. The invitations went out, the families prepared, and Sarah's heart raced with excitement. But what she didn't know was that Ahmed had been hiding a secret. A betrayal that would crush her world. The day arrived. Sarah, dressed in her bridal gown, glowing with happiness, waited for Ahmed to arrive. The guests whispered, the music played, her heart pounded. But Ahmed never showed up. Minutes turned into hours, and then the news broke. Ahmed had married another woman. The entire wedding was a lie. While Sarah prepared to give him her life, he had been planning a different future with someone else, someone wealthier. Imagine the heartbreak. Imagine the humiliation. A bride left at the altar, abandoned in front of her family, her relatives, her entire community. Sarah's world crumbled. She cried for days, for weeks. Relatives pitied her. Friends whispered behind her back. Poor Sarah. She gave him everything, and he left her like garbage. Her confidence was shattered, but deep inside, a fire began to burn. He thinks he's destroyed me, but one day, he will regret this. One day, he will face me again. And that day, I won't be the weak, broken Sarah he left behind. Sarah decided to change her life. Instead of drowning in sorrow, she threw herself into her studies and career. She worked day and night, sometimes skipping meals, sometimes crying silently, but never stopping. Step by step, she climbed the ladder. From a junior employee to a manager, from a manager to the owner of her own company. Within years, Sarah wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. She became a successful businesswoman, respected in her industry, admired for her strength and intelligence. Then, fate played its part. One morning, during an important round of interviews for a new position in her company, a familiar face walked into the room. It was Ahmed, the same man who once humiliated her. The man who left her at the altar. The man who thought she would never rise again. But this time, the roles were reversed. He wasn't the confident groom anymore. He was a desperate man, struggling, looking for a job, and sitting across from him, in power, in authority, was Sarah. Ahmed stammered as he introduced himself, trying to act professional, pretending not to notice her. But Sarah's eyes locked on him, cold and unshaken. She let him speak, let him explain why he was qualified for the job. But the truth was written all over his face. He was desperate. He needed her. Finally, Sarah leaned forward and said, calmly but firmly, "Ahmed, do you remember the day you left me waiting in front of hundreds of people? Do you remember the humiliation you caused me and my family?" Ahmed's face turned pale. He whispered, "Sarah, please, that was a mistake. I was young." But Sarah cut him off. "Mistake? No, Ahmed, it wasn't a mistake. It was your choice, and today, this is mine." She picked up his resume, tore it in half, and dropped it into the trash. "You're not welcome here. Not in my company, not in my world. Leave." Ahmed walked out, humiliated, destroyed. The same way Sarah had once walked away from her wedding day, Sarah didn't need to shout. She didn't need revenge through anger. Her success was enough. That day, she realized something powerful. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply becoming everything they said you could never be. She lived her life with pride, respect, and dignity, while Ahmed lived in regret, haunted by the woman he once betrayed. And that was the story of Sarah, the woman who turned heartbreak into power. If someone betrays you, don't let it break you. Let it shape you. Let it push you toward becoming stronger than ever, because the sweetest revenge isn't destroying your enemy. It's living a life so successful, so fulfilled, that they can never reach your level.